Hello everybody and welcome back to the Escapists 2 speedrunning tutorial series. Time for part 2, the mid-game. So, the second section of the game that I talk about is going to be the next three prisons, Kapow Camp, Hms Orca, and Hmp Offshore. So, let's get right into Kapow Camp. This is still another prison where you don't need to worry about the guard list, so we don't need to mix up anything here. So, by far the fastest solo escape method in Kapow Camp is the Speed McQueen escape, where we put the makeshift rocket launcher onto the motorcycle. So, a brand new mechanic is these like cameras hidden inside the prison rooms. What this means is we have to be very careful about the deaths we check. Also, since we're spawning with a cellmate, if we check deaths, we want to make sure we're not checking it right as roll call starts, otherwise they'll wake up and see us checking their deaths, and then that's not going to be pretty. I have a certain way of checking all these deaths without having to worry about the camera seeing me, and I'll go into more detail about that. So the first thing is, sometimes not all the things you want to find for the escape will just show up naturally. So, just as a backup strat, you want to, like, at roll call, pick up some favors that you can do relatively easily, just in case you end up needing to buy one of the items. And also, while you're doing this, you should pay attention to the favors that do come up, because some of them can actually spawn the items you need. But I suppose before we talk about that, we should really talk about which items we need. So, the three items we need to find. We need to find a soda can. Well, actually, it's 4 items, really. But we're going to worry about 3 of them for now. We need to find a screwdriver, because we're going to need to get through vents. We're going to need a makeshift ladder, because we need to be able to get up to the vent. And we're also going to need a soda can that will go towards making that makeshift ladder. So right now, for the sake of things, let's go over to breakfast time right now. Usually, I would just like continue looking through deaths and just like forego roll call. But we're gonna come over here for one particular, well, for a few reasons. See, if you have time, it is a good idea to check into breakfast time just for the sake of managing your heat and your stars. The library is also right here, and you are going to need to do a little bit of intellect grinding, but not much. And there's also one last desk up here. There's rare situations in which you want to check it. It's mostly in situations where you're like only missing one of the items, and just in a last-ditch effort, like you just hope it's in that desk. But normally we don't bother about that desk. So we're gonna do the intellect again, and we only need to get up to 40. And actually, I'm going to try to go over one concept that I forgot to talk about in the previous video. We're going to talk about good and bad configs here. So, if we just pop into a random one, sometimes the bar will spawn at the bar will start at the very end. Other times, it will start kind of in the middle. Other times, even if we can get a good one, it'll start very close to the start. Obviously, the ones that start closer to the start are good because you don't have to hold the button as long to get up to that bar. The ones that spawn at the very back are terrible because you have to hold it for a long time before you get there. But what if I told you you don't actually have to do every one? See, the ones that spawn in the back, you actually have enough. They take so long that it's worth it to exit and just go back and hope for a better configuration. And by the way, if I say configs, that's short for configuration. So, just as an example, let's like kind of do this. See that, like, and I try to, basically the cutoff point is like, if it's gonna be like past the halfway point, that's when you should like try to reset it. So that's a good config. That's good. And so is that one. That's another good one. That's a bad one. I'm going to reset that one. That's also kind of bad. I'll reset that. And yeah, you just got to get used to like figuring out very quickly whether or not it's going to be a bad configuration or a good one. And if it's a bad one, reset it quickly and try to get a better one. So that's one concept about the int cancelling that I didn't talk about before. Alright. So we missed job time just because we were messing around. So the next routine is exercise time. Usually exercise time would be when you like return some favors that you grabbed in order to just make sure you had money to buy items in case you needed to. But in our case, we haven't even actually finished searching all the desks, so we're going to continue doing that. So, for making sure you can check the desk without getting caught by the camera, these three desks are very easy to do, because all you need to do is check them from the side, and the camera will never see you. The desk right up next to the camera is a little bit trickier, but you can still do it by just snugging up to this wall and then checking it. Just as long as you're snug against that corner, you can check and the camera won't see you do it. In fact, I'm pretty sure, like even if the camera's looking straight at you, it won't see it. Yeah, see? As long as you're snug up against the corner, the camera can't see you. And with all the other desks, just as long as you're checking from the side, you're good. If we go down to this desk, this room is a little bit different because there's this little like object blocking us from checking this desk from the side. The solution is to hold the interact button to pick up the desk and move it. The only place you have to really move it is down to this corner, and then you can check it safely. Because like the camera was even looking straight at me when I did that, and it still didn't see me do that. So that's how you check the desk without the camera seeing you. And we're actually getting really bad luck on the item spawns here, because we need, like I talked about, we need a screwdriver, a makeshift ladder, which is 3 paint cans, and a soda can. We literally only found 1 paint can, so this would definitely be a Kapow Camp that is just like, it just went like so horribly, like we gotta just reset the run, because otherwise it'd take a really long time in order to find all the items or like grind the money to buy all the items from people instead. So we're going to exit out of that, and we're gonna try this again. And this can be like more of a like hardcore attempt to kind of show you what kind of more at speed what I'm trying to do in this prison. So the first thing is going to be, like I said, you have a quick opportunity to check some desks in your own starting room before people wake up. If there's an empty desk in your starting room, check that one last, because you don't have to worry about the guy waking up. Check the desks with that actually belong to people first. Discredit is a good quest. Check my desk. There's a screwdriver there. That's good. And let's check this guy's desk now. Nothing good. Alright. We'll go to roll call and check for a few more favors. Generally we want to get like at least $75 worth of favors. Delivery driver is a really good one. Or not even 75, just 70, because a makeshift ladder only costs 70 coins. Wet Bandit is a good one in this map, just because someone will usually have the plumbing job, which means that quest will often just automatically win, because the toilet clogging from the plumber having to do their job still counts for completing the Wet Bandit quest. So in maps where someone usually has the plumbing job, that's a good quest to take, just because it automatically wins sometimes. So we actually got a lot of favors there. So we're actually as far as I know, I don't see the screwdriver in shops often enough to know, but I know that the makeshift ladder, when people sell it, costs 70 coins. The can of soda, when people sell it, costs 140 coins. Usually I only worry about making sure I have enough money to buy the makeshift ladder if I need to, just because that tends to be the hardest one to find, because it means you have to find 3 paint cans. But if you have enough to buy if you end up with enough favors to buy the can of soda, if you need to, then more power to you. So that was actually like a really good set of favors that we got, because yeah, well, like once we complete this discredit quest, we're gonna have enough money to buy a soda can if we need to. Hopefully won't need to. This is still looking like not very good RNG we got this time, because we still need 2 more paint cans and the soda can, which is gonna cost a lot of money, but we sort of made up for that by the fact that we found a lot of favors. But yeah, man, the RNG just really has not been kind to me this time. Kapow Camp can be very brutal with the RNG, but it's still usually at least a little bit better than this one has been. Or than this session, rather. Alright, so let's see. I need to check for some more favors. Discredit is a good one. It's a very good one. Discredit is worth it for the first 2 of the line of 3, but then the third in the line of 3 is actually like a beat up quest. Like, I'm gonna check it just to show you. Yeah, he is asking me to beat up Bartlett. So, like, for the third in the quest line, it essentially becomes a beatdown quest, rather than like the dump an item into someone's desk, like the other ones are. Not's not good. And like I mentioned, I kind of briefly mentioned, you also want to pay attention to the favors as you check them, because some of them actually will like force either like paint cans or actually the can of soda to spawn, which is really good if you can get the can of soda to just spawn on its own, or well, to spawn with a favor rather. Okay, while I'm here, I need to remember to okay, energy drink doesn't work. It's not an acceptable substitute for the can of soda. While I'm here, I should get my intellect going. I suppose I could like go upstairs and check that desk we talked about before, but I'm not gonna bother just because like we've almost got enough money from favors to do all this stuff. In fact, I think we might actually. If we are short, we're only just barely short. I'm gonna get my intellect quickly. Yeah, and like, yeah, being good at Int Cancelling is just a matter of getting used to the quick resumes and learning to recognize very quickly whether or not you've got good or bad configs, so that you know if you need to reset. Okay, we're just short on money, so we'll grab the can of soda right there, and then we gotta complete a Wet Bandit quest really quick. Well, it's a shame to waste it, but we're gonna, like, flush the energy drink. Just because it's probably faster than rummaging through a desk for a different item. Now we gotta check the shops for someone with a, selling a, I was gonna say check the shops for someone selling a makeshift ladder, but there's actually 2 people walking around here carrying cans of paint, so if we can beat those guys up instead, we can just take their cans of paint and then be done. Although if I need to be better at fighting if I'm gonna be trying to do it like this. Okay, where'd the other guy go? The other guy's still there. Yeah, this is really slow for a speedrun just because like we got pretty bad RNG both times, but we're powering through it just to kind of show you like what you kind of have to do with backup strats when it's not working out perfectly. Because sometimes that's just the way it is. Sometimes it just doesn't work out and you gotta improvise. Uh-oh. I beat up too many people. And also, like, because there's a second step to this whole thing once you've got everything. And I need to, like, show you what that next step actually is. Just get his paint can. Okay. As long as I have it, they're going to take me to the infirmary. Alright, so now we can actually get into the second step of this process. We've had such a bad RNG that it took us a while to even get to the second step here. So, I had that screwdriver kind of stored in my desk. I have the other paint can in my desk, I believe. So we need to go and grab those really quick. I am resting my energy up really quick. The reason I'm doing that is because I need health. Because what we're actually doing next is we need to beat up a guard. Because there's one more item we need, and the guards always carry them. Every single guard is carrying one of the items that we need. So we'll grab these things. While we have time, we might as well craft the makeshift ladder. And the makeshift ladder only costs 30 intellect, so you don't actually have to do any grinding to get there. The reason you need to do the grinding is for the makeshift rocket thruster. So the other items that we need is the roll of mints, and guards always carry one. So what we do, where we go to once we're ready to do the escape is right down here. So what we do, we go down to this building and check one of the desks to lure, so that the camera triggers and lures one of the guards to come in here. Then once they're there, we beat them up, take the sugar mints, and be on our way. You also notice, the guards sometimes carry a screwdriver. If you cannot find the screwdriver, you can try to just beat up guards until you find one. That is an option. And sometimes it's a very good it's a good backup option. The only thing that gets tricky is when you start having to beat up multiple guards because you didn't find one on the first one. Because unlike the sugar mints, not every guard has a screwdriver. So beating up the guards for the screwdriver is an option, but it should be your backup strat, not your default strategy. So yeah, all we do, we use the makeshift ladder to get up into the vents, screw out these vent covers, craft the makeshift thruster, put it on the bike, and that's the escape. But yeah, Kapow Camp can be a prison that really just likes to mess with you with giving you a lot of bad RNG. That is just sort of a thing with Kapow Camp. It's the main reason why we often consider Kapow Camp one of the quote-unquote gatekeepers of a good run, is because it's one of the prisons where the difference between good RNG and bad RNG is huge. Because most prisons, good RNG versus bad RNG is like a minute. It's around a minute. With Kapow Camp, it can be as much as 5 minutes. So we often consider Kapow Camp one of the big gatekeepers of a good run. But that's pretty much all you need to know about Kapow Camp. I'll try to kind of add in post anything that I might have forgotten. So next we go on to Hms Orca. This is another one of the mobile prisons. So much like Cougar Creek Railroad, there are two options here, both of which we just need to collect a set of items for. The two options are, we need the tubing and the bolts in order to activate the jet ski on the bottom floor. Either that, or we need tubing, duct tape, and an oxygen tank for a makeshift scuba apparatus to escape from the top floor. You notice, either way, we need tubing to do this. So I think I'm going to do this much like I did the tutorial for Cougar Creek. I'm just going to kind of go through and show you the route of which desk to check, and then we'll go through this a second time and talk more about all the guard patterns you need to know. So we beat this guy up. This guard, the first thing you need to know about the guards is this guard always has a red key. If you have to beat him up, you might as well take that red key, because it just lets you get easier access to this contraband desk, which in this map, the contraband desk and the medic desk can have the items. In fact, we just found the tubing. So that's perfect demonstration of my point. The items you need for the escape can spawn in those two desks in this map, whereas they couldn't in Cougar Creek. So those are two desks you still need to check. So the route. The main route. Well, actually, I'm going to go back in this and switch out the crowbar for the nunchuck. I usually, if I find a weapon, I'll usually grab it just because, I've got space in my inventory for it, and it's good to fight the guards if they become troublesome. So, the normal route I do. Normally, I come to this desk first. If that guard is in a bad pattern and I have to beat him up, I might as well go check the contraband desk first, which is what I did here. But normally, I check this desk first. Then, I go downstairs. When I'm downstairs, I check these two desks, and just like make sure we dodge the guards. Then we'll go to the other side and check all the desks on the other side of the bottom floor. So actually, with this guard's pattern, well, okay, the guard's pattern overall just like wasn't cooperating very well, so it's kind of gonna be slow. And yeah, I don't know why, but that guard can like sometimes see you through the door, and it's weird. But anyway, we checked those desks. We found the duct tape we need for one of the escapes. So right now, our checklist is that we either need the bolts or the oxygen tank is the other one we need. So we come over here to this side. There's more desks for us to check. Check this one. Nothing good there. Check this one first. Nothing good there. So the logic behind us checking the bottom floor first is that the bottom floor escape is the one that needs less items. So we're more likely to be able to find that one. So we could either go to the top floor first or go to the bottom floor first. We choose the bottom floor because the escape on the bottom floor only needs 2 items. So there's more of a chance we can find all the stuff early and just be able to go right to it. If that makes any sense. Sometimes I'm not very good at explaining things. So in this case, unfortunately, we haven't found all the items we need. So if we get to this point, we go back upstairs. Oh, there's a guard beating us up. That was a little bit silly. Okay, that was actually a guard that we beat up earlier returning to their post. So that was a little unfortunate. All the items we had just went to the all the items that just got confiscated went to the contraband desk. So we actually found the oxygen tank here. So that's like a double demonstration. Like both of the medic desk and the contraband desk spawn with items that we need for an escape. The tubing and the oxygen tank. So yeah, we're at low health. Why don't I just like consume that medkit? So I'm gonna wait for this guard's pattern just because like I'm not having good luck with the guards right now. So we got beat up twice and we got a lot of items confiscated. But the good thing is they respawn in the contraband desk, so that we have an option to just go back and get them again. These guards are really being jerks with their patterns. Come on! Oh my god! Okay, I'm playing really badly here, but this is a tutorial, so it's okay. It's really not okay, but oh man, I need to get good. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm trying. Like sometimes when I try to like explain myself while I'm playing, it just doesn't work out so well. Actually, I was supposed to go to the contraband desk, so that was the plan the entire time. But we might as well check here. Found the duct tape. Well, I mean, I'll finish checking those desks up there just to show you the route if you end up needing to go upstairs. So yeah, like I said, like all the items that got confiscated, they're here now. So we have the tubing, the duct tape, and the oxygen tank. So I think we're gonna end up doing this escape up on the top floor, just because like we've already got all the items for it. So we check that desk down there at the top first, and then we check this desk. This is the bolts. So the tubing and the bolts are the items you need for the bottom floor escape. So again, the route is this desk, that desk, and then find an opportunity to come inside there and check those desks. Although, in this case, we already had all the items we need to make the makeshift scuba apparatus. In that case, you want to just craft it and rush on over here, because that's where it is. There we go. Alright, so let's go through that again. And first of all, try not to be so bad. And second of all, we'll talk about the guard patterns that you need to know. Alright, so this first guard patrolling the outside of the desk, he walks back. His endpoints are the medical desk and this little area up here. So you just gotta like kind of observe where he is at in his pattern. I'm pretty sure like if he's like kind of looking, if he's looking away in this area, you can actually like hug this little corner and he won't see you. We just barely escaped him this time. So this guard, well, we're gonna beat him up and we're just gonna walk around through his pattern. So this guard, his pattern is he walks up from here and he walks all the way over up to this door, and we'll actually go through it. Do note that the bookcases can be seen through, so hiding behind a bookcase is not an option if you don't want to be seen by a guard. It will not work. This guard, his pattern is a little bit more intricate, so we're actually going to hide in locker to just watch his pattern. So he goes from here and looks at the, he goes to here and looks at the chair. He goes to this little corner and looks up, and then he goes to this alley and looks back at it. When he's looking through that, when he's in that alley and looking that direction is your best opportunity to sneak into that desk and check it. This guy found us, so we're just going to have to beat him up again. But we already went through this guy's pattern, so we know what to do when he's there. This guard has a very long pattern. So we're just going to like follow him around and watch it. So he's made stops here, here, and I'm pretty sure he's going to stop on every corner of this little rectangle here. And we're just going to watch him do it. So yeah, he stopped here, here where the oxygen tank is covering up, and he's stopping in each corner of this little rectangle here. So this is like an intricate pattern that you have to know in order to know when you have an opportunity to check all these desks. Because it's basically like this one guard guarding all three of these desks. So, and he's also checking up into that room. But yeah, okay, there's the bolts we need. Yeah, and he also goes like far up there to look specifically at that desk. Yeah, so he makes a lot of stops in his patterns. You gotta know his pattern very well to know when you have an opportunity to go check each desk. And it, like, I don't really have like an easy shortcut to know like when's good for which desk. You just kind of have to know, remember that he's walking around this entire rectangle. Like, as long as you just like know the general path he takes, and just like know the fact that he's like circling around in this sort of way, you should be good. It should be easy to figure out when you do have an opportunity. I don't remember if I checked this desk, so I'm gonna check it again. I did check that desk and there was just nothing. So we come up here. If you haven't checked the medic desk already, you want to see if you have an opportunity to do that now. So you first have to worry about that very first guard we talked about, because remember, he does pop into the medical room a little bit. And there's also this guard. This guard, well, let's walk around and observe this pattern. So this guard starts makes one stop in the medic desk, and then they walk over here. I believe they walk all the way around this little curve. In fact, let's pull up the map to see. Oh no, he just checks that little corner of it and then comes back, and then they're gonna walk down. And I assume they're gonna do the same thing down here. That they're gonna like pop in, look here, and then come back and go back up. Alright, so yeah, the pattern they make is a little kind of back and forth with these little alleyways. So let's just stand here and watch this guard do their thing and just make sure that's all to their pattern. So if that's all to their pattern, they should be walking back into the medical room, right? Yeah. Okay, so You can either check the medical desk at the very beginning when you spawn, or when you come back up from checking the bottom floor. Just like based on like whatever's more convenient. And also, there's this little like pathway with the stairs here. So like we talked about, if the first guard's in a way and you don't want to wait for him and you want to just fight him, you can take his red key and check the contraband desk right away. Otherwise, when you come back from upstairs, when you come back from downstairs rather, but before you go check the upstairs, you can come through that little double stairs to check this contraband desk. And once you've checked those bottom 2 floors, you come up here. So now there's these guard patterns. So this guard makes a lot of stops, but his pattern is relatively simple. He just makes a loop from, like, if we just start the loop at this door, he'll come around into this room, come around into this alleyway, and then come back up and back to that door. It's a relatively simple loop that guard makes. This guard is a little bit more intricate, and I don't even know by heart that it's that guard's total pattern. I just kind of have a general idea of what that guard does, but I don't know for sure their overall pattern. So it looks like they start by kind of checking down in where that scuba escape is. They come out to watch the front door of that room, and then I believe they duck into the captain's quarters for a little bit, or the navigation room for a little bit. I think that might be their overall pattern, I think. Oh. Yep. Yeah, so they just they duck into the captain's quarters, they duck into the navigation room, come check that scuba escape, and then when they're coming back, they also stand in front of the door for a little bit to watch that. So the tubing was in that desk, so we need to grab that eventually. The 3 guards in the navigation room, you don't need to worry about. Those guards are only a concern if you're doing co-op and you're doing the take over the cockpit escape. So we did the scuba escape earlier, so I just think just for the sake of it, we're gonna take the tubing and bolts and actually go downstairs to the jet ski escape and just show you how that works. It's relatively simple. And actually, we're going to make it even harder. We're going to get a guard's attention while we do this, because I want to show you an interesting thing. It's the fact that if you already have the escape ready, you don't need to worry about it if a guard's chasing you, because you have enough time to do it really quick before the guard can finish beating you up, like we just demonstrated. So that's pretty much the entire story about HMS Orca. We went through the general route you should take, and what items you're looking for, and what the guard patterns are. It was a really slow escape though, because we spent so much time explaining everything. Alright, so now, the last prison of the mid-game. This is Hmp Offshore, and this is the first prison where we actually care about the names of the guards. So, just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to randomize this guards since they were pre-named. You need to know, in order to do this prison the fastest way we know so far, you need to know which guards have red keys. For those who don't know, the guards on the list, they always have the same keys just based on their position in this list. The guard in the first position will always spawn with the same key every time for that map. So, if you take the time to beat up every guard, you can figure out which ones have which keys and then just know that for next time. In fact, I have an entire list for certain prisons of which guards have which keys, in case I ever need to go back and reference it. So for this prison, for this strategy, you need to know who has the red keys. The guards with the red keys are the 1st and the 3rd in the 1st row, and the 6th and the 9th in the 2nd row. So if you can just remember 1369, you'll have no problem remembering which guards have the red key. So, and actually, the best way to do this is to take a little bit of time to rename the guards, because that way, once you actually start the prison, you have an easy way to tell who has which key. Just for the sake of showing it, I'm going to rename these guards full name Red Key. Normally, if I'm doing this in a all prisons run, I would only take the time to rename them R, because that's enough to communicate the fact that they have a red key, but without taking more time to type out the entire phrase red key. So, let's start here. So, this first run, I'm just going to show you the general route we want to take. So, well, first of all, you spawn in your desk, check your desk. You want to look for any health items or any weapons. We're going to go to roll call, and then we're going to take a look at the map. So head up to roll call just to prevent lockdown. So let's look at the map. I'm going to zoom out as much as I can. So, if we go down to the main floor in this prison is floor 6. It's like the lowest floor that the desk can be on. This is where most of the stuff in the map happens. There is a very easy perimeter escape option to get to as long as you have a red key. And the way you get to that is you go to this stairwell, go down, and run across this bridge over to the guard area. And then you go up this stairwell, go up that stairwell, come around and go up one more stairwell, and there's actually a helicopter for you to escape from. That is the easiest perimeter escape. But how do we get there? Well, we need the red key, obviously. We saw a few red key doors along the way, which is why we needed to know which guards have the red keys. Now, intuitively, a new player might think, oh, so I need to gather up the materials and the intellect to craft a fake red key. Not quite. You just need... We're going to show you a brand new technique for getting through key doors, and I'm going to call it key rushing. We don't have an official name for it, but we might as well call it key rushing, because that just makes sense. Normally, players are encouraged to get the materials to make fake keys, so as to avoid triggering a lockdown when you take the key from a guard. But, who says you can't just take the key from the guard and rush out before the lockdown starts? That's the theory behind key rushing, is that you don't need to take all the time to make a fake key if you can get to the escape fast enough before the lockdown really takes effect. So we're going to show you how to do it. Right now, I'm just looking through the desk trying to find a decent amount of health items and a weapon to use to fight the guard. 'Cause, like, the easier the guard fight will be, the more likely we'll be able to do this. Cans of soda are good for energy, but not really for health. So, these aren't great item spawns here. Bottle of milk, it's 10 health. You want at least... If you're going to go with the health items, you want to grab at least 10 or 20 health in total items. So 2 bottles of milk will do it. So we're good there. It's just you don't want to go with you don't want to just go with 1 bottle of milk, because that's not going to be good enough. Cookies and bars of chocolate are 20 health each, so those are very good items to use for that. So and screwdriver is also a good weapon, because it's just as fast as the fists. It's slightly more range, but more importantly, it's more damage. So screwdriver is a good weapon to take for the fight. So what we want to do is we want to kind of be around this area to wait for a red key guard to be near enough that we can beat him up and take his key and start rushing on over. So let's look for a red key. This guy's too far away. So we want him to be near enough to this tower that we can get inside really quick before the snipers start shooting. Because as soon as we start beating up the guard, our heat's going to rise to... the heat's going to rise to 100 as soon as we punch a guard. So we want to be near enough to this tower so that we can get under cover before we end up taking sniper shots. So let's see, because this is a red key guard. Let's see if he's going to come down near the tower. Looks like... Okay, I'm going to take a chance here. Well, nope. He's running away from the tower too much. Okay, we've got a second guard here. Okay, I think we're gonna go with a backup strat you can do. Normally you want to do it from the right tower, but what if I told you we could also do it from the left tower? What if I told you that's a perfectly reasonable option? So if we go from the left tower, I want to like take them upstairs to do the fight. The one reason why we do that is to make sure other guards won't get in the way. By the way, when you fight the guard, if they have a medkit, take it, because you're looking for health items anyway. Health kit is a really good health item. The other reason you want to come up to that top floor if you do it from the left tower is that you can go turn off the power. Turning off the power doesn't do much, but what it does, it turns off those cameras, and it's also going to turn off a contraband detector later. The reason it's good to have those off is that if you set those off, it'll attract other guards to that location, which means you have to run through a lot more guards before you get there. So, this is the dangerous part. You have to run across this bridge while the sniper is shooting at you. This is one area where charge canceling is very important, because charge canceling can get you past that fast enough to only take 2 hits from the sniper. So, when you're walking across that bridge, you have 100 health. Sniper shots take 40 health apiece from you. So, you can only take 2 shots if you didn't bring any health regenerating items. So, but charge canceling can get you there fast enough that you will only take 2 shots. The reason you want to bring health items is that sometimes there will be guards in your way. So, if there's other guards in your way, you either have to risk taking a hit from a guard, or you have to take the time to block to get past the guard without taking a hit. But if you take the time to block, you're going to take an extra hit from the sniper. So, either way, bringing some health regeneration solves the problem, because it either lets you take that hit from the guard, or it lets you take the extra sniper shot. So, grabbing the health isn't necessary, but it's a good idea just for consistency's sake. It just makes sure like one lone guard on that bridge won't kill you. So let's go and do this one more time. And now that we know the theory behind it, I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're trying to do this as fast as possible. So the first thing we're going to do when we load in is check our desk for weapons or health items. Okay, check desk for health. None of those are really good. We're going to look down here. We're going to pull up the map and look at where all the guards are going. We've got a red key guard going right over here. We also want to take a look at guards crossing the bridge. Okay, they started early, so... Okay. We've got a chance to do a quick... oh, maybe not, because the red key guard came inside, and there's a bunch of other guards watching, so... if that red key guard had gone, like, in a few other places, we would have had a chance to go beat him up right away and just, like, head out without even bothering with roll call. But because of the direction that red key guard took, we gotta play it a little safer and wait for a better opportunity later. So let's see. There's no red key guards around. So, an important thing to remember is that 2 of the guards at roll call have red keys. So, the very latest you should be able to do this is after roll call, because the 2 red key guards will be coming back from roll call. You'll have a perfect opportunity to beat one of them up and take them to the tower. So, let's check our map again, just to see if another red guard came up and is in a position. Okay, there's no other red guards, so we gotta wait for the 2 red guards to come from roll call. So there's one of them, and there's the other. If they both end up going down here, that's a little troublesome, but we can still work with it. Okay, so we got one of them. We gotta kind of hope that there's no other guards watching. So when you step outside, you're gonna start getting hit by the sniper, but you can duck into this room a little bit to cancel the sniper timer, so that you can get up here safely. So this is really not ideal because we attracted another guard into this room, so we gotta kind of double fight the guards, and we ended up taking a hit there, and that's really not good because it's gonna make this even harder. And also this guard is blocking, so there's a chance we might not even be able to finish this guard off before my energy runs out. Yeah, so that just didn't work out well. We just got really bad luck with the guard patterns. There wasn't too much we could do about that, so we'll restart and try that again. Like, sometimes the guard patterns just don't work out. The fact that both of the red key... The fact that we never had an opportunity to beat up a red key guard before roll call was the first bad thing, and the second bad thing was that both of the red key guards were staying on the top floor, which means we had to... Like, the longer of a path you have to take the red key guard, the more you're risking another guard joining the fight because they see you. So, in that case, it just didn't work out. Sometimes it won't. You can get it pretty consistent, but there still is a chance that the guard patterns are just going to be, like, so horrible that there's not much you can do. And that was definitely one of those cases. So we're going to give this another shot and try to kind of show you what it looks like when you do it more properly. So we don't really have anything to work with there. So if we go immediately, it's going to be pretty risky. There's a red key guard there. So let's see. Are people coming across the bridge? So the red key came back. I'm going to go down there and just, like, give it a shot. Well, actually, okay, I'm close enough to roll call. Let's, like, go check in now. Just in case, like, it doesn't work out. So I'm going to try to go down there now and see if I can catch back up to that red key guard and find an opportunity to beat them up really quick. Where did the red key guard go? I actually don't see the red key guard anymore. I don't know where the red key guard went. He might have, like, turned back around and went back. Oh yeah, he turned back around and went back to the guard area. Okay, yeah, it looked for a second like he was gonna turn back and come back to the main area, but then, like, he doubled back again and went to the guard area. So we didn't really have an opportunity to get him there. So we're just going to look for some items. Bleach can be used as a weapon, but it's not a very good weapon, so I usually don't. So let's go up here and make sure we can get a red key guard. Alright. So, yeah, we've got some coming down this way. So what we need is we need an opportunity to fight this guard without the other guard seeing it. And we've actually got a really good opportunity here. Oh, okay, the camera saw me, and that attracted the other guard's attention as well, so that didn't work out so well. Okay. Oh, man, and there's another guard hiding up here. Oh, man. What the hell is the guard doing up there? Yeah, that's another case of just, like, the guard patterns really not cooperating. Yeah. Okay, we got soda there. I mean, energy is good, but it's not really the key thing we're looking for. Man, this red key guard is just, like, super trolling me with not giving me an opportunity to go fight him right away. Well, I don't know. The fact that I spawned on the top floor, on the, like, 7th floor, meant there wasn't really an easy opportunity for me to go get him. Actually, oh, the red key. What? Why is my game glitching? Are you kidding me? Why, game? Why? Why did you do that to me? It's like, I don't know what happened. Like, I just, like, couldn't stop walking up, and that was a little bit silly. But we still got an opportunity to get this red key guard. It's just, we had to wait longer than I really would have liked, just because, I don't know, something about my controls was sticking, and I couldn't stop moving up. So we've got this. Okay, so we don't have any health items, so actually something you can do is you can check this desk, because sometimes I find that the desks in the towers are much more likely to have health items, and in fact that was the case. We found a cookie. That'll help. Okay. So we've got one troublesome guard that we got to worry about. We can drink this can of soda because it took us some energy to block his attacks. So the fact that we like took the time to check that desk means we're gonna have less time to get over to the escape before the lockdown starts. And the thing is, if the lockdown starts, it both means you have a more of a time limit because the dogs are gonna start coming towards you, and it means that the SWAT guards are gonna start come out. And if they're like too far out by the time you get there, then it's gonna take some work to dodge around them because they hit hard. But anyway, we did finally get a offshore attempt to work out properly. But yeah, usually offshore isn't that trolly, but just like this session, man, it's just... Yeah, first it was Kapow with the bad RNG, now it's like offshore with the horrible guard patterns. Jeez, the game's just really trolling me today, and that can happen sometimes. But usually this is a lot more consistent if you know what you're doing. So that should be all you need to know about Hmp Offshore, and that concludes the mid-game section of the speedrun. Join us next time, and we're going to go over the third section, the dreaded Fort Tundra.